Well, hello there, folks. That's Radio FM 88 Australia. My name's Jeffrey Shaw, and my co-host Andrena Forrest is based in the UK. So it's a global community that we're dealing and outreach to, and as a result, Andrena's been able to secure a lady who lives in the southern parts of the UK. So it's going to be an interesting show to people. Tell you the truth. So stay tuned and carry on, and you can actually get onto the Facebook sites, and you can actually then make comments, and we'll share those comments with our guest. Thank you, Andrena.
Hi, good morning, everybody, or good day, wherever you are in the world. And if you're listening to the replay, welcome. It's my pleasure to have Melissa on our show today. Melissa is an old soul connection, but we've only met a few months ago. We connected through different things on Facebook, and we've met up, and we've got a lovely friendship going. So Melissa's been sharing her journey of her reducing her cancer naturally, and I know that's the way that everybody wants to go. Well, most people want to heal themselves naturally, without doing drugs and all of this sort of thing. So Melissa's got a lovely story to share, and ask her to share about her daughter, because her daughter was, I think, was it a couple of years old, and she wasn't very well. You can correct me. She wasn't very well, and Melissa kept going to the doctors, and they just passed her off as a young mum. But it turned out that she stood her ground and wouldn't leave the doctors, and I'll let Melissa share the rest of the story and the journey that has taken you on to this point in time now. And Melissa's in my favourite place. She's right down in Poole. So, yeah, so it was a great connection and not very far away. So I'd like to hand it over to you, Melissa. You'd like to
Yes,
share how your journey started?
yeah, so thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be on here. So yes, it was in 2013 actually when my daughter, she was 2 years, well, she was 2.5, and just like a normal toddler, she should be happy and running around and full of energy. But actually she was getting quite poorly, and she was very, very pale, and she started to limp. She started to come out in bruises, and she just generally had no energy and was very tired. And so I kept taking her to the doctor's surgery because she also got very, very high temperatures. And they just kept saying to me, her immune system is down, so she's going to get one virus upon another. And there's nothing wrong, go away. And I continued to go back because she wasn't improving and she was getting a lot worse. And I thought, maybe she was anemic, and, something was quite wrong because she was just increasingly getting worse. And then she had night sweats as well. And so back to the doctor's surgery I went again, and I got again, you're a first-time mother. You're a very pale lady, so your daughter's going to be very pale, and there's nothing wrong, and to just go away, she'll be fine. And yeah, like you said, I was quite stubborn, and I said to the doctors, I'm not really going to leave the surgery until I've got some kind of confirmation as to what's going on, or you do a test or something, because I was convinced that something was wrong. We know our own children.
Yeah.
As a mother, I just knew something really wasn't right. And so the doctor said, oh, there's nothing wrong. Please just leave. Everything's okay. You don't need to worry. And I said, look, you're going to have to forcibly remove me. I'm not going anywhere. I need to get my daughter tested to see what's wrong with her. I'm convinced there's something wrong, and you're not taking me seriously. And, you can call the police if you wish. I'm just not moving. You need to help me. And they said, oh, well, okay, just to put your mind at rest and to basically get rid of me.
Yeah.
They said, oh, we'll send her for a blood test. They wanted to do it in a couple of weeks, but I was adamant that it had to happen urgently. Got a blood test the next day, and Yeah, within 2 hours, they called me back after the blood test and said she has got something very seriously wrong and please pack a bag and come in. So yeah, that was the beginning of her diagnosis. And then she was diagnosed actually with leukemia, and she had like all of the cancer cells had taken over her blood, and she'd pretty much had to have a blood transfusion and platelet transfusion and everything that night. So yeah, it was quite intense.
Mother's intuition, eh? And I don't
Yeah,
suppose
definitely.
you didn't get an apology from the doctor that they didn't listen to you.
No, after a while, we returned back to the GP for a regular checkup, which was after everything happened. And he actually said, "Oh, I'm the doctor that diagnosed you." And I said, "No, you're not. You told me to go away."
Yeah,
Good
good
on
on you,
you.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't, what was his answer to that then?
Oh, he didn't really say anything. He just
No,
went all a
no.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Say
But
no
yeah,
more.
so that was the beginning. I wanted to do natural healing with her, but unfortunately, I don't know the rules in any other country, but with children and mostly adults as well, they try and make you have chemotherapy and surgery and stuff. Um, where hers was leukemia, so it was of the blood, you didn't require surgery or anything. So they wanted her to start chemotherapy immediately. And I said, can't I do some natural healing or incorporate some natural healing? And they said, unfortunately, if you wanted to do that, we would have to take your child away with social services because we have to make sure that she has chemotherapy to save her life. And so I obviously wanted to keep my daughter and not have her taken away.
Oh,
So I had to comply with what they said. And she did have 2.5, 3 years of chemotherapy. And as you can see with the pictures that were just there, she was really very poorly. And thank goodness she has pulled through now and she is okay. But she's a very magical little girl and she's 12 now. She's absolutely recovered and fine. But the treatment was horrendous. And, I wanted to do things more naturally, and it broke my heart having to see her go through all of that, But she
yeah.
did pull through and she is okay. And she does lots of crystal healing and things herself. And actually, through her chemotherapy, she used to hold crystals and rub crystals on herself. And she told me that she was healing herself, that it was healing her. And some of the crystals actually drained of color completely. It's really amazing. So yeah,
Yeah.
she
No,
does crystal work now. That's her. That's her now, and 12 years old.
yeah. Fantastic. I mean, that's such a lovely start when children are in tune, but especially when the mother is in tune as well and recognizes, you've got a gifted child here and you can help them, like you say, with crystals and healing and all sorts of things. So, yeah.
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 But yeah,
So
she's
beautiful.
really in love with crystals. She's always been into crystals since she was very, 2 years old. Every time we go anywhere, it's, can I buy a crystal? Can I buy a crystal?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
people don't realise the importance of crystals. I mean, crystal virtually came out of crystal radio sets. I mean, as a young boy, we played around with crystals and created
Yeah.
crystal radios. And then, of course, then you had CB radios, and you have to cut the crystal to a certain length, and it needs to have like 6 sides and all that stuff. And you have to have the other one replicated so that you can be a transceiver and receiver. So then we moved into TVs and other electronics, and then they moved into liquid crystals. So, yeah, and then you've got watches. So crystals holds a charge. It's got electric piezo effect. So when your child picks up the crystal, she's actually interacting with it. It's almost like she becomes one with the crystal, and the crystal has already originally got a
Exactly.
program in it. So she's receiving it and retrieving it. Pretty fantastic.
They're amazing, aren't they? And
oh,
she's always got them lined up on the windowsill, charging them up with the sun, and they're just so powerful. And yeah, people don't realize they're really very powerful indeed. So
yeah.
yeah, so it's
Well,
brilliant.
yeah. I know. I saw her last time I met you, and yeah, it's lovely that she's recovered and she's come through all of that journey. And I can totally understand why you wouldn't want to go through that. But you had no choice because
Mm.
that's how it was then. Like, whereas now it'd be a different ball game, wouldn't it? Eh?
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, if I could do it all again, obviously I would just not take her to the doctors for the diagnosis in the first place. But you know, everything is a lesson and a blessing, and we have to learn from
Exactly.
what's happened. And thank goodness I was really positive with her, and, you know, kept her spirits up and made her laugh all the time, and kept her positive, said, "You're okay, everything's fine," and was messing about all the time, having fun. And I think, you know, power of the mind is the most important thing. But yeah,
Definitely. Mm.
so yeah, moving on from that.
Well, hang on, I'll just interrupt there.
Yeah,
You said a key thing, and that was the power of the mind. It's not only the individual, but it's your immediate family members who are around you. They need to hold that same intention and that same concept
the
of having a
frequency.
healthy person. Yeah, 100%.
Definitely, it's so important. Yeah, if we have negative people around us, it's going to rub off and it's going to bring our vibrations down. Indeed. So,
100%.
for, so yeah, if I was a mother that was crying and miserable and thought it was the end of the world, and, you know, then it could have been very different. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
fortunately, I was very positive and kept her happy and kept her spirits up and her vibrations high. And although she was really very poorly, you know, we did, you
Mm.
know, nearly lost her a couple
Yeah,
of times. It was
I
really
bet.
scary,
Mm.
but yeah,
So
thank
let
goodness she was fine.
before we move on to your next step, let's go back to when you were a child because you've come in as a very gifted child as well. Well, lady now. um, so you know you've seen spirits and all sorts of things, haven't you? So do you want to? So did that come from your mum and dad, or come from your gran, or are you the odd one out in the family now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I am kind of a black sheep of the family. Yeah,
Really?
I think I think most of us are, aren't we? A lot of us spiritual people. Um, but yeah, I mean, I can't remember way back when I was really small, but I can remember being about 7 or 8 years old, um, seeing spirit, and I used to see portals in the ceiling of my bedroom, and yeah, I used to see them all around the house, and I used to feel their energy and everything. And I used to say to my mum and dad, because at the time I was young, I was quite frightened. I didn't understand what was happening. And my parents weren't really spiritual or into that kind of thing. Um, my dad used to do mindfulness and breathing technique and all of that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, when I used to talk about spirits and things, it was your imagination. Go back to bed. There's nothing there. There's nothing going on at all. And yeah, I used to feel them everywhere and see them. And like I said, there was portals in the ceiling. I could see everything from a very young age. And so I I just thought that I was having a problem really because they told me it was in my imagination, that I must be, you know, seeing things or you're dreaming. And yeah, so I thought maybe it wasn't really normal and there was something wrong. But then when I think I left home when I was 16, um, I started to do my angel cards and oracle cards, and I used to listen to guided meditations and align my chakras. So I've always done that kind of thing, and I've always been on that path. Um, and I have always been a healer. I've wanted to help people and heal people all of my life, which, you know, unfortunately does drain our energy if you're not understanding how to balance your energy and protect your boundaries and everything. So to start with, I was giving out all the time and, you know, getting exhausted. And so I had to go through the path to come to where I am now, really.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's all a journey, eh?
It is indeed, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, so
I tell you what, I just happened to have this thought last night to watch a movie I saw years ago called The Secret, Dare to Dream.
mm,
And what a positive movie that was in terms of seeing the glass, you know, full rather than half empty. It was a great concept of thinking, and it will manifest in it.
definitely. I mean, I've read all of the books. There's The Secret, The Power, The Greater Secret, and I actually have the gratitude diary that she made.
Mm.
And on one side of the book, you say all of the things that you're grateful for today. And on the other side of the book, you write everything that you're grateful for in the future. So it's the law of attraction. You're manifesting what you want to happen. And it's really very powerful. And I do that every single day. It's really very clever. And yeah, the film is actually on Netflix. It's really, really, really It's really good, and I tell everybody about that actually because it is
What was it?
life-changing. The
What was it
Secret.
called? Oh
The
no, the
Secret.
film. Oh,
Well,
was
there's
it
two
this?
things on Netflix. It's what have we just done? We just lost it. The Secret, but it's actually more of a documentary. But if you can
Yeah.
get in and watch the actual movie, The Secret, Dare to Dream. It's got Josh Lucas and it's got Katie Holmes in it.
All right.
Ah, so I've not seen the actual film. I've just seen the documentary.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
film is. Yeah, the film is all about how things just. There's a negative, and out of the negative comes a positive, and then from a positive it starts amplifying it, and and then it changed the whole family. Katie Holmes' character is a mum whose husband's died, and she's bringing up 3 kids, and how the mother-in-law, she's with the family, and how there's a big cyclone comes in, typhoon, hurricane, whatever you want to call it in their language, comes in, and then this fella turns up, and the synchronicity of it all is just amazing. And he's the one
It's
who's power
incredible.
positive. Yeah, he's the one who's power positive. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
incredible.
he changes he changes her kids, and then he changes her just by his attitude and his words that he uses. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do that with my daughter as well. So
Mm.
if she's feeling like in a negative mood, like, oh, I can't do that, I can't do this, I'm saying to her, well, you've already done it. You know you can do that. And it's knowing that you can do this. And it's like with cancer, people get scared of this word cancer, and then they're praying and manifesting, please let the cancer go away. But the universe can only hear the word. They can't hear I don't want it or I do want it. And so it manifests to you whether you want it or don't want it. It's because you're saying that one word. So words are very powerful. They're like spells. When we say something, it happens, it manifests into reality. And so we have to be really very careful of our words. And so I always make sure that I say the cancer. I never say my cancer because I don't want to
Yeah.
have ownership over that, you know?
So what do you say?
Yeah.
What's your word? What's your phrase?
So I always say the cancer or cancer. I never say it's mine because I don't want ownership over that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many people say, I have this, I have that, and so on. And I was thinking, no, you don't, but
But yeah,
it's a learning curve, and it's re-educating people on how they're thinking and their thought process.
exactly. And when you're talking about something, it's like I don't say, oh, I hope I get better or I hope this
Yeah,
goes away. I'm already healed. I'm
yeah,
fine. I'm absolutely of perfect health. There's nothing wrong with me. And that's how we have to speak because it manifests into reality.
yeah,
I'm perfectly
definitely.
healthy in body, mind, and spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all connected 100%. Yeah.
Mm.
Can't be one or the other. It has to be mind, body, and soul combined.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Right, okay. So share us how you started this process happened for you.
So yeah, I had a bit of a challenging life, as a lot of us do,
Yeah.
and and as you can imagine, after my daughter went through all of this awful treatment, I had like a complete breakdown actually, because all through the treatment I was like, what can I do? Get her well. And I was like a martyr and nothing affected me. I was just on a mission to get her well. And it wasn't until a year later or something, I had fibromyalgia and Crohn's and stuff, and it all completely flared up. And I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't move. I was in pain. I had to have like 4 carers a day just to take care of me and help me with my day-to-day needs. It was terrible. And unfortunately, the pharmaceutical company got hold of me, the GP surgery, and they had me on like 36 tablets a day. And I was drinking morphine. I was just a vegetable in a bed, basically asleep. And because I was going through like post-traumatic stress with what had happened with my daughter, they tried to diagnose me with all these mental health conditions, like bipolar and an emotionally unstable personality disorder and all these different things, and had me drugged up. Basically, I was led in bed and they were upping and upping and upping the medication, and I couldn't even look after my daughter. My mum had to look after her. And it was awful because I just lost control. Basically, I didn't know what was happening. I was just asleep and very poorly, and they'd upped the medication and sedatives to the point where I actually had a mini stroke, a TIA. And I was really quite suicidal. I didn't want to be there anymore. I'd kind of got to the point where I either exit out of this life because I can't do this anymore, or I have to pull myself together and get better for my daughter and just be okay somehow. And so that's where it all began. I then got off. I was like weaning off of the medication. I attended mindfulness classes. I did confidence building courses. I did DBT to help with my emotions. I just did all of these courses and weaned myself off of this medication to the point where I was out of the wheelchair. My mind was strong. I didn't want anybody else to go through what I had been through because it was hell. And I just wanted to help everybody else. And I knew that, you know, nobody should be on this medication because it doesn't, this is my opinion, obviously people take medication, but for me personally, it made me poorly, it made me worse, it made me like completely sedated and unfunctioning. And so, yeah, I scraped myself out of the gutter, out of this black hole, and decided that my daughter deserves better than this mother that's led in a bed and in a wheelchair and sick and poorly. And they said to me, you know, the doctor said, you're not going to be, you know, getting better. This is how it is now. This is a lifelong condition. You're going to be in a wheelchair and that's it. And I won't accept that. I'm a really stubborn person and I have a strong mind. I'm an Aries, so and I wasn't taking that as that was what was going to happen in my life. So yeah, that was it. That was when I decided I'm going to get better. I'm not having any of this, and started to heal. And then on my journey, helping everyone else, I'm qualified now in counselling, psychotherapy, Reiki healing, like all different things, a mindfulness life coach. Just because through everything that I had been through, I just didn't want anybody else to have to go through all of these struggles and not have help or not have somebody to reach out to, or, you know, I wanted there to be a
Support.
gap that was filled. Yeah, support. Exactly. So yeah, I thought that I had everything together and everything was fine. I was where I needed to be. I was helping everybody. And then I had a couple of massive emotional traumas at the start of 2021 in February. And I have obviously, you know, my daughter being poorly, that was a massive emotional trauma in itself. And then unfortunately, yeah, I was diagnosed with aggressive breast cancer in May 2021. Yeah. So that kind of rocked things about and changed everything again. So yeah, I thought I'd done everything and got where I wanted to be, and then I had this whole new journey, which I'm completely grateful for. So yeah, I was diagnosed. The tumor was 8.5 centimeters when I got diagnosed in May, and I've now managed to shrink it down to 5 centimeters. I got it measured again a couple of weeks ago even. So yeah, I decided that obviously with my daughter, I was not allowed to do it naturally for the reasons that they told me, but I knew that under no circumstances for my personal journey, for me, I didn't want to be on any more pharmaceutical medication at all. I'd had this journey of, you know, pharmaceuticals, and for me personally, it made me so poorly that I just didn't want to have any of it ever again, ever. And so they said to me, you know, Melissa, you don't understand how serious this is. You're a young woman. You're 36 years old. You're a single mother, and you have a very aggressive breast cancer. It's very large. It's the largest we've seen in such a young woman. And I said, well, what happens if I don't want to have surgery? What happens if I don't want to have my breast removed? What happens if I don't want chemo and radiation? You know, I'm not convinced that that's the path I want to go down. And they said, well, I'll be completely honest with you. If you decide to go down that road and not have any of our treatment, you will be dead by Christmas.
No.
So I obviously at the time when you're hearing that, it's really emotional. It was quite traumatic hearing that. And at the time I was in a bit of fear, and obviously, you know, I'm a human being. I have emotions. I'm not a robot. it was quite traumatic and emotional to be hearing that. And they really, play on your emotions, saying that, you're going to die, please do this treatment. Your mother, you're a mother, your child needs her mother. And I knew all the way along I didn't want to do their treatment. And so yeah, I just decided, no, I don't want to do that. They then decided they thought I must be completely insane. And yeah, they were going along the lines of, we're not sure if you have mental capacity, if you're thinking with sound mind. um, and yeah, they said that if we find that you're not of sound mind, we can actually force chemotherapy on you through sectioning you,
Really?
being insane. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I privately contacted a psychiatrist, and I asked him, please, can you just do an assessment to prove that I am of sound mind, that I do know what I'm doing? And he said, yeah, of course. And I went for an assessment, and he said, yeah, that's fine. I have no concerns whatsoever. He seems switched on to me. I have no concerns. And so, yeah, when I went back to the hospital and they kept trying again, I said, look, I've had an assessment. If you want to have a look on the system, that's fine. It's all there. There's nothing wrong with me. This is my decision. They kept trying to force it all the time. But then, yeah, I just decided I was going to do it natural, and they had to accept my decision, even though they kept, trying to force me every time I went back to get measured. I was adamant I knew what I was doing. And so, yeah, for the first couple of months, I just detoxed. I did a juicing fast. Like for 2 months, I just had juice like fruit. I removed all chemicals. I didn't use any makeup, any hair dyes, any shampoos, any soaps, any toothpaste, any washing up liquid, washing machine powder, like nothing. I just removed every single product from my house and threw it in the bin. And just made sure there was nothing chemical in my life at all. And I went on an alkali diet as well. So I followed Dr. Sebi. He does an alkali diet. So it was like no meat, no potatoes, no dairy, because dairy creates mucus and it blocks the lymphatic system. And meat also creates mucus in the body. If you're mixing it with all these different vegetables and things and you have a mixed diet, it does create acidity in the body. And so I just had to completely cut out everything. And then I went to see this man who's he's a homeopath. He does ideology, herbalist stuff, like everything you could imagine. And I got put onto a bioresonance machine. And they're absolutely amazing. So he scanned my body. It's just I had headphones on and held a metal pole. And he scanned all of the organs. They scan the brain, the teeth, the organs, the lymphatic system, every single thing. And it's really clever. It's a frequency machine. And he told me at the time, your lymphatic system's blocked up. You need to heal it. Your gut needs healing. You need digestive enzymes to break down the food. So I knew that I had to heal my body, heal the lymphatic system and clear it. I had to fix my organs, and the gut is like our brain, isn't it? We need to make sure that's healthy
right.
and functioning. And so I had to do all of these things. And I knew that cancer wasn't this thing that was going to come and kill me, this terrible disease. I knew deep in my soul, and having done hours and days and weeks and months of research and years even, I knew that it was a final warning that your body is so overloaded with toxins and emotional stress and all of these things that you have to clear it, or you are at the end of your life. That's it's a warning. We have to, pull ourselves together and deal with it, and that's for me what cancer is. And so, yeah, as soon as I started to detox, heal all my organs and do everything right, and I also had to do a lot of inner child healing. I saw my friend who's a shaman called Mark. He's absolutely amazing, and he did some shamanic journeying with me, and some EFT therapy, some crystal healing, like all different things. And I've also attended a couple of his cacao ceremonies, which were really powerful for my healing as well. And after I'd actually done lots of healing, I went back for the tumour to get measured, and they had actually said it's shrinking. So I believe what happens, is once we remove all of the toxins from our body, and once we do our emotional trauma healing and get rid of all of the mind, body, and soul traumas and toxins and heavy metals, everything from in our body that's not supposed to be there, because emotion and trauma is stored within the body as well. So obviously, because it was in my breast, it's within the heart chakra, and anything within the heart chakra is, we can get heart issues, lung problems, chest problems, boob, breast issues, from emotional trauma. So if you have these emotional traumas, it can manifest into your chest area. And so I just knew I had to clear all of this. And yeah, when I did, it started to shrink, and the evidence was shown at the hospital, and
What did they say? Because when before I went to Australia, I had a friend in Bristol, and she had breast cancer, and she was like you. She was adamant, "There's no way you're going to cut me up. Not doing that road." And she did all the juicing and everything. But the actual, it was at Frenchay Hospital then. The actual surgeon and that wanted to know exactly what she was doing, and they followed her journey, and she cured herself. And I think people don't realize cancer is a wake-up call. It's just saying hello, you need to do something. And it's brilliant that you've taken the alternative route, because so many people go to the doctors, take what the doctor gives you, the doctor's Bible, and people just don't do the research. And then sometimes the side effects are worse than the blooming, what you've gone in with. It's wonderful that you've done all that, and what a testimonial. So have they made any comment that you've been shrinking it yourself? Do they not want to know more?
You would think so, wouldn't you? You would think, oh, well, I thought this woman was going to be dead at Christmas, and she's not. What's she doing?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, unfortunately, the surgeon is kind of like, I don't know what she's thinking, to be honest. But their kind of attitude was, oh, well, you've lost a lot of weight, so perhaps it's because of that, and that's probably why the tumor's measuring smaller. And they're not scanning me or anything, because I actually went for an ultrasound scan a few months ago. I think it was September, October, or whenever it was. And they actually said to me, oh, we're not quite sure what's happening with the tumor. And I said, well, has it shrunk, or has it grown, or what's happening? And they said, well, we don't really know. We're not sure. You must be 1 in a million. We don't know what's happening. And at that time, I was like, I didn't really understand what they were saying, because I was like, it's a scan, you can see, compare it to the last one. Why can't you see what's happening? People have scans every single day. And so I knew something was a bit strange, or what I was doing must be working, and they didn't want to tell me. Which is strange, because you go to a hospital and they're supposed to look after your health and want you to be healed, which was really strange. But yeah, they kind of said to me, it's probably smaller because you've lost a lot of weight. And then they said, oh, it could be the positioning of the tumor. Like, they've tried to make all these different excuses as to why it could be a different measurement. And I said, well, surely you can see that every time I'm going, it was shrinking. To start with, it was 8.5 centimeters, then it was 6.2 centimeters, and now it's 5 centimeters. I said, that's a significant amount. That's not just like a tiny, and it's consistently, slowly going down. And so, it's not growing. I'm not dead. It must be doing something right. But there was one nurse that was amazing. And she actually did say to me, you look amazing. What are you doing? You're doing so well. And so that made me feel lovely. You know, it's nice that somebody
Yeah.
has recognized that you're doing good.
Yeah.
Not that I wanted praise or anything, but it's nice that somebody actually did, you know, say. So yeah, I said to her, I'm doing an alkali diet. I've cleared all my emotional trauma. I've been doing lots of spiritual healing and, you know, just removing all the toxins and everything. And she said, well, whatever you're doing, you know, it's working. Keep going. Well done. So yeah, but the
Mm.
actual surgeon, they and on paper when I get letters through, it will never say it's shrinking. You know, they've said it appears smaller, and
Yeah.
it could be for these reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. But not that you've taken control of your body. You're not putting
Yeah,
uh, anything that's not of the highest good for your body.
yeah,
But yeah, no,
yeah. What the
brilliant.
letter
That
should say is this lady is shrinking it herself, not. But instead, the letters say this lady is still declining treatment.
so it's crazy, isn't it? So and like you and many of us are completely alternative. Will not put anything in our bodies that we know is not not good. There's so many things being put into people now, and then you've got to wake up and take responsibility. Do your research. People don't do. A lot of people don't do their research. I mean, there's a lot of us that are awake and
Hmm.
know about all these things, but it's a shame that the medical staff or don't start understanding that our body is the greatest healer, and if we listen to our body and what's going on, and like you look into it and address all these different things, you can turn it around. But you've got to be in the mindset, haven't you, of to
Yeah.
make the change, because there's a lot of people I know that I've spoken to and I've helped in the past are just rather take that route than
Hmm.
take responsibility for themselves. And so, I found for myself personally, I've had to step back. When you can help people when they're ready, and if you can't help them, well, sorry, move on, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You just got to be aware of your energies and where people are at, and if they
Definitely.
want the help, well, here I am. I can help you if you choose. So,
Exactly. And it's a
mm,
real shame because I think people go along that road. I mean, some people that I've spoken to that are completely awake and in tune and know what they're doing have actually, unfortunately, been sucked down that road because of fear. They are
yeah,
put into absolute fear and told, you know, you are going to be dead. This is the only treatment that will get you better.
mm,
And people are scared to death. They believe what they say because they're the professionals. um,
exactly.
and they see no other way, and even though they know that there are these natural ways, they've been told
Mm,
by these professional doctors that that's not going to work and you have to listen to me, and people do go into complete fear, don't they? And
yeah, yeah.
they go
And
along with whatever they're told.
I think cancer is the biggest fear word for people because it's a shock, and you think, oh my God. And
Yeah,
then, like, for some people, it's the end of the world, you're dead,
yeah.
and you've got no chance. And for others, it's like, hello, wake up. The body's crying out for attention. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so
Because
amazing.
unfortunately, we do associate this word cancer with death, don't we? And people
Yeah.
do. They think, oh my God, somebody has cancer, they're going to die.
Mm,
And that's
mm,
what has been programmed into us by the
mm,
mainstream. And we do believe that, you know, people hear this word and it's all doom and gloom and they're scared to death, you know.
mm,
And it's actually, like we were talking earlier, like the secret and manifestation. When these doctors and nurses and everybody say you will be dead on this day, so you've got that in your subconscious in the back of your mind. And
Yeah.
if you're thinking constantly, I'm going to be dead on this day, or this is going to happen, this is going to happen, you will
mm,
manifest it to happen. It will
yeah,
become your reality. And this is unfortunately what happens. And so for me, I changed the timeline. I'm not on that, you know, that isn't
yeah.
my reality. Um, you know, it's just a wake up call. That's not my reality. That's not what's going to happen. I'm going to be absolutely fine, you know?
Mm, mm,
Well, the secret really
And
comes back to if I said to you, Melissa, you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and 5 o'clock in the morning is not your cup of tea for getting up, but you might even go to your clock and you'll set that clock for 5 o'clock. What actually happens, I can guarantee you will wake up a minute before 5 o'clock
mm,
yeah,
because you can't program yourself.
That happened like this morning. I did that. I thought I have to be ready for this talk. I have to set my alarm early. I need to have a shower and be ready. And I woke up, about 5 minutes before my alarm went off. So it does work.
Yeah,
So
and I woke
yeah,
up
with
a
you.
minute before mine because I
Yeah,
thought, oh, I got
Sorry.
to be ready. And yeah. And I'm not knocking the National Health. They have their place. They do wonderful work. But when it comes to educating people about the side effects of tablets, and there are other ways, they're just not on that page. And
Yeah.
that's sadly, and you think now in this day and age with all what's going on, they'd be start to turn around and say, hey, this is right, isn't, because I won't have a mammogram. There's no way. I
Yeah.
read about it, and that's my choice. And you read about biopsy and all that. They cut bits out of you, but they leave the roots still in. So the root is going down in your body. It's
Yeah. Not only
yes.
that, but people aren't ever like, sometimes people, when they have tumors and they have surgery to remove them and everything, they will always grow back if you're not getting to the root cause. And if you're not
Exactly.
healing your emotional traumas and dealing with your diet and detoxing and clearing your heavy metals and really doing your inner child work as well, if you're not doing all of the reasons why it got there in the first place, then it's going to keep coming back. And
Yeah.
this is the problem. This is why so many people have recurring, tumors and things, because the surgeons cut it out. People carry on with their normal life and then they come back because they're not getting to the root cause of the problem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so for me, all of last summer when it was warm, every other weekend we were going to the family farm and camping. We just took our tent, and we're camping in the field and foraging and collecting, plantain and silverweed and dandelions and hawthorn berries and living a little bit off the land, not completely. But for me, environment as well, it's so important to have nature around us and be connected with the earth and to ground and to heal and to have natural herbs and things inside of us to heal. And our environment is so, so, so important. It's like they say, don't they? If you've got a messy house, you have a messy mind.
Yeah.
And it's the same when you're on a healing journey. You have to be within nature all the time and ground and connect. And I truly believe that that was a part of my healing journey as well, just being in a field, every other weekend and being outside as much as possible, connecting with the earth. And we used to make fires every night and just stare at the fire and go into meditation and just feeling grateful for every single day. Gratitude is so important. I was,
Oh,
grateful that I was in that place and I could hear all the animals, the owls and the, birds,
yeah.
all these different things. But yeah, no, I'm truly blessed every single day that I have the knowledge and information, and I'm just grateful that I can share with everybody that you don't have to be stuck in a wheelchair. You don't have to believe that you have a death sentence, and you
Mm.
can do things. If you choose to do something and to heal, you can. You just have to decide and make that conscious decision, and don't be in fear. Don't let people, limit your belief system. Don't let people put a timeline on your life or say this is how it's going to be.
Mm. Mm.
You can do it. You can heal naturally. The bodies are so incredibly powerful, and the placebo effect as well is an amazing thing. If we truly
Mm.
believe that we're taking some juice and it's going to heal us, it will.
Yeah, yeah. It's the power of the mind, isn't it?
It is.
So,
It's
so
amazing.
how did you get on when you first started to go from all what you've been doing to suddenly, excuse me, juicing, and because you did it for a long time, and I mean it takes a while to adjust to that. It's like a radical change, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I was really very overweight because in the past I'd not had the healthiest foods choices and pharmaceutical medication years ago and everything, and so my body wasn't in a great shape. I'd concentrated so much on my spiritual path and helping everybody else with their trauma work and everything that I had neglected my body, and so I was very heavy. And so at the start of when I cut everything out and I juiced, I had lost 3 stones, so it was a real a lot of
Mm.
weight. um and my family were a bit worried because they thought that it was to do with the cancer, but it wasn't. And so I lost a hell of a lot of weight. Really, I mean, for anybody going on that journey, I do not recommend cutting out everything completely all at once. It's not
No.
advisable at all. And I was a bit silly to do that because I actually, for 2 months, felt like I was dying because of the detox symptoms.
Yeah.
I was asleep all the time. I had flu type symptoms. It's all of these detoxing symptoms. And so I did cut everything out all at once, and it's probably quite dangerous, and nobody should do everything all at once. So, if people are going on this natural journey with food and chemicals and stuff, I would recommend doing it gradually, first, sugar or coffee or, one thing at a time,
Yeah.
not all at the same time.
It's not too much of a shock to the body then, eh?
That's right, because your body does go into shock. It's like, what's happening? I'm not having sugar, I'm not having coffee, I'm not having, all of these things, and you go into shock. So yeah, I don't advise that. And I did do that. And I did feel quite poorly for a couple of months, but I got through it. But yeah, no, but afterwards, I think after like 2 months, I went from sleeping like 4 hours during the day and feeling really poorly to having all the life in me and feeling wonderful, and really started to feel like I was healing after a few months. And it was just that journey of detoxing all of the rubbish out of my body. And it's not taken 5 minutes to get there, so it's definitely not going to take 5 minutes to remove it all.
No, that's right.
But yeah, after a few months, I'd started to feel a hell of a lot better. And yeah, like I said, I lost freestone as well. So that's obviously going to considerably, help things. And I just, as the time was going on, I got more and more used to the diet. I'd originally thought, I can't eat anything, there's nothing I can eat. How can I do this? I'm just living on this blimmin' juice. But yeah, then I found Dr. Sebi's alkaline diet. And I found that was actually quite a lot more I could make and eat. And, even though I couldn't have bread or anything, I made quinoa bread. So I just had like a cup of quinoa, a cup of water, blitzed it up with a bit of salt and cooked it. And that was what I was eating with mashed up avocado. But like, that was my bread. You just have to swap things, and all of I took loads of different supplements. Like I was taking high dose vitamin D, high dose vitamin C, I was taking NAC, I was taking I'm still taking turkey tail mushrooms, soursop, which is graviola leaf, Essiac tea, like all these different herbal remedies. Like I have to balance my hormones because my tumor I got told it was hormone fed. And so I knew I had to balance my hormones. And so I don't consume anything, like meat or dairy or anything that contains hormones. And also I take a herbal capsule, it's just different herbs to balance my hormones as well. So yeah, I do all of these things. And I just feel amazing. I'm not feeling hot and bothered anymore. My hormones are balanced. I'm feeling better and better and better as the time goes by. And yeah, people say to me, looking back, would you have changed things? And then maybe you wouldn't have got ill and this. And I said, actually, no, I'm really, really, really grateful for every single thing I've been through. And I'm blessed to have got the cancer, because then I could heal myself and show everybody else that you don't need all of this pharmaceutical medication. You have the power to do it yourself. It's just knowing how.
That's right. Yeah. Fabulous. I mean, it's a wonderful story. And, like looking at you now, I mean, obviously I didn't see you when you were poorly or anything, but such a testimonial and inspiration to others. And I know like people can get in touch with you and ask you any questions but I think for, like you say, it's getting over the shock first and then looking at things. But like you say, people don't realize you've got the washing powder full of chemicals, you've got the softeners full of chemicals, the tap water. There's so many people that just drink tap water and say it's fine. It's not.
No.
But and it's like in hair, like I do as much as I can, natural as I possibly can. And there are some things I've had to use. And like you, I've got essential oils. So in my
Yeah.
bathroom, I've got a fresh spray for the bathroom made up with essential oils rather than spraying bloody, and then like people, you go past people and they've got aftershave on. And oh my God, I've known people in the past, they go to hug you and I said sorry because it's it gets left on you and the smell
Mm.
makes me, yeah, have a little bit, but don't put it all on your lymph glands, put it on your clothes,
Yeah.
it's like your
It does
perfumes, isn't it?
absorb. It all
Yeah,
absorbs into our bloodstream and into our lymphatic system and everywhere. It's like underarm deodorant and everything. It
yeah,
goes straight into our
right
lymphatic
in.
system, and it affects the lymph nodes and the breast and everything. And
Yeah,
yeah, I always use essential oils, and I have done for years actually.
yeah,
I've
tell
always
me.
I've always used essential oils, like burning them and using them
Yeah,
for headaches and all
yeah,
different things.
all them
And
things.
but even essential oils you have to be careful about, because I used to just buy off the shelf essential oils and off Amazon or wherever. And it's not until I looked into, you go down all these rabbit holes and find out all these different things. And even with essential oils, I found that even though it said 100% therapeutical grade and natural and all the rest of it, having delved into them deeply, half of them are only like 10% essential oils and the rest are synthetically made. And so I will only ever use doTERRA oils now. And
Yeah, that's what I
I
use.
actually,
Mm.
yeah, I actually saved up and joined because I know that they are pure, you know where they come from. And yeah, I
Yeah,
use them for everything. I rub frankincense and myrrh into my breast as well because they are so powerful. They're really, really powerful. And
mm,
I drop frankincense under my tongue as well if they're not
yeah,
completely safe or, good grade and you don't ingest
yeah.
them. But I know that these are pure, so I can. Um, but yeah, you just can use them in so many different ways. And I put them in my washing machine. I use them for cleaning products, like you say, air freshener, everything. And they're so, you can use oregano oil for our immune system and everything as well to build up your immune systems.
I remember I
But
took
yeah.
some of that once or something, not, and I didn't read up on it, and put like 5 drops in a glass of water, and then added about that, and I was like, I was like dragon's
Oh
breath. I was like,
no.
never do that again.
No, it's like you have like hot oils, don't you? There are some hot
Yeah,
oils like cinnamon and frankincense and yeah, oregano oil. And if you're taking oregano oil, you should always put them in like a veggie capsule and swallow them like that. Don't
it's
ever
all
put
the
them in your
learning
mouth. You
curve.
burn.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
on
you'll burn
fire
your
for
lips.
sure.
Fire breathing dragon.
Yeah, I was. It was like, but,
Oh
I
no.
thought I won't do that again. I didn't look it up, but anyway. So going back to excuse me, Dr. Sebi, did you say? Because I
Yeah.
don't know that name at all. So that was your main change of diet by following his routine.
Yeah, he just does. If you have a look online and you type in Dr. Sebi alkali food list, he talks about electric foods, he talks about using the herbs as our medicines and
Mm,
just using an alkali diet, because basically when our body is alkaline, it cannot grow dis-ease to the body, like it
mm.
cannot exist. So, I drink bicarbonate of soda water as well,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
people think that like lemon and limes are really acidic, but actually when you consume them, they turn alkali within the body. And so it's all about alkalining the body. So when your body is, when you have an alkaline environment, cancer or, dis-ease to the body, it cannot grow, it can't exist in an alkaline environment. And so, for me, that's why I decided to go and follow Dr. Sebi, because he was this master herbalist. He helped so many millions of people. He cured them of cancers and HIV and herpes and everything you could imagine, and just with an alkali diet, I think he suggests cannabis oil and things, or RSO oil, or CBD oil.
Mm.
And yeah, herbs are our medicine. They're what we
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
fix ourselves.
yeah. And another thing people can do is buy the pH strips, because
Yeah.
I've got a pack, and I'm always testing my pH to make sure I got the balance right. And
Mm,
that's another important thing. If people just did that as a starter, checked your
yeah,
pH levels, you know, measured it on the guide, and then if it's not right, then you think, okay, I need to start looking into this.
exactly.
The thing is, so much of the processed food is full of crap. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no, and I went to oh God, about 10 past lives now, about 20 odd
Mm,
years ago. um, a lady that came over, and she talked about colonics, and we had all these pictures of different colonics, and she was showing, like, if you eat meat, how meat stays in the body, and
mm,
just rots, and it's like, getting people to re-educate, look at what they're eating, check the chemicals, and the sugar content. I mean, some of the stuff I pick up now is like 50% is sugar, and
yeah.
I think, oh my, it's heart attack food.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, people, when they see the word vegan, they think that it's a healthier alternative. And unfortunately, like you say, a lot of the shop bought processed foods, even that are vegan, they contain
Mm.
soy, they contain sugar, they contained, genetically modified things. Half of it looks like it's 3D printed.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's incredible, isn't it? We do have to just eat clean and not have any processed foods, not consume sugar or anything, and just have an alkali diet so that dis-ease cannot grow within the body,
Mm.
and just to make sure that every single day we're balanced and practicing mindfulness, and that we're connecting within and listening to our intuition. And that's vital, because if we're listening to all of these external people and forces constantly all the time, we're not doing what's right for us. We're not going within, we're not going with our intuition.
Mm. Mm.
People are put into fear all the time, and they go along with the mainstream of what other people are told to do and what they believe to be normal. But yeah, we all need to be re-educating ourselves into actually what is good for the body, because even people that have been trained in nutrition that I talk to, they believe in keto diets and things, and still eating chicken and dairy and stuff. And I have actually said to them, are you aware that these things do this to the body? And they're
Mm.
like, oh my goodness, no, I've never heard of that. So we do have to be really careful in what we, where we learn from as well, what information we're taking in. And that's really why, I'm just happy as well, because all of the clients that I have already with, Reiki, and I do past life regressions and inner child healing, all different things, I'm just pleased that I can help them more now as well with what I've learned through this cancer healing journey. I'm just so grateful that I have extra knowledge that I can share with other people as well, and it's just vital that we know these things. And I'm really grateful to you for allowing me to come on and share my journey, because, hopefully it will help so many different people.
Mm. Definitely, definitely. And like, if anybody wants to ask any questions, we've got some time. Is there any questions? I saw a couple of things flash up, but Jeff,
Sorry.
hello, calling Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Nanu.
Yeah, he's obviously reading something there. Excuse
Let's
me.
say, I'll go with this. I put it up before.
Oh, Andrea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, when you were talking about taking 36 tablets a day or something, I was very mindful of a movie that had Jack Nicholson in it, and it was called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that, Melissa.
I've not seen that one. I've seen a few of his films, but that's not one I've seen. I'll write it down.
Yeah, I
Probably
think you
too
should.
young.
So he gets sanctioned, and he's in a mental health ward, isn't it? So he's quite elusive. He's quite full on in it. And the big chief Indian guy there is his roommate, and Jack's playing this role. And he gets medicated, and he calls the nurse rat shit. She's just forever bloody dosing him up, you know.
Yeah.
I won't give away the rest of the story, but it's a very powerful, emotive movie concerning the chemical-based aspects and how to get them certified. So in those situations, it's always important. I was listening to you when you said they want to section you. You really did have to do what you did, and that was fantastic. You went and saw a psychiatrist to have a session there, because it's important to have that. I mean, sometimes it's important to have even 3 of those testimonials, because it's just slam dunk. And it's expert versus expert. So, lawyers are always keen to get an expert, and then they have to get a higher grade expert who's a professor or something who's written many papers to be their expert to do battle in court. So I salute you for what you did. Fantastic.
Thank you.
That's a wonderful inspiration and testimonial to other people. And if anybody's listening, and there's like also, my favorite book is Secret Language of Your Body by Inner Siegel. And I tell everybody, Louise Hay is great, but it's like the ABC guide, whereas Inner Siegel in the Secret Language of Your Body, even down to a thumbnail, a split in the nail. Because I remember I had something like that years ago. And when I read what the emotional meaning was, I thought, oh my God. Talk about black and white in the face, so it's, when you've got not only cancer, but other things going on in the body. And also another thing is when people have got like one of their toes like gone fungy, the nail goes all horrible and what have you. People don't realize, don't ignore it. Something needs to, there's something going on in your body, and now it's coming out through your foot, through your nail.
Yeah, exactly.
And people just, it's like helping people to understand what's going on in their body. If you've got something going on, there's an emotional reason that you need to look at. And it all has its purpose. And in that one, there is like healing exercises to say, when you read whatever's, like eyes are about not seeing. If you've got ear problems, it's about not hearing, not listening, and all of the,
it's like if you have throat problems, you have communication issues. It's all to do with the chakras, isn't it?
Yeah. And so, there's plenty out there if people are struggling or have got a health issue, start doing your research, start checking all these things out. If you need to take the alternative, the medical route, that's fine, but you can gradually wean yourself off. Because I know some people have had horrendous side effects from all these things, especially lately. I mean, unbelievable. And people are asking, how can I detox? What can I take? What can I do? And it's right, okay, well, we can help you as best you can, when you're ready. If you're not ready, that's fine. It's not everybody's journey to change things, and it's having acceptance as well, isn't it?
That's exactly it, because I do know a lot of people on this journey, because as you can imagine, I'm getting like hundreds of messages every day. And unfortunately, some people, the natural way isn't right for them. And because you have to, like we said, it's mind, body and soul. And if mentally you don't believe that you're going to be okay, that can be an issue. And unfortunately, some people, they can do all of the same treatments, have an alkali body, do everything the same as what I'm doing, but theirs is growing, and it's because they haven't done the spiritual work. They haven't got the mindset. You need to have, the positive mental attitude, the knowing that you're going to be fine, and also sound frequency is amazing. If you look into sound frequencies and all the different vibrations, if you have spooky tea machines, or I think there's even some frequency sounds on YouTube, and the bioresonance machines, I have singing bowls and tuning forks and stuff as well, what I use on my clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Um,
you know, these things have a frequency with the body. They will heal us as well. There's so many ways that we can heal.
yeah, yeah. And it is taking responsibility. You have a
Yeah.
choice. You accept where you are and you plod on along that way, or you think, hello, wake up. There's more to life and my body. And, it's
Yeah.
feeling better, isn't it? You feel more alive, you feel more joyful, you've got more energy. I mean, I know there's so many different herbs out there, and, I'm not when I have a little garden set up, I would like to be working and using much more herbs than I do. But I mean, I love going out picking fresh nettles and
Yeah.
dandelion leaves, and things like that. And that's just a start. You can pick up herb books and in charity shops or bookshops and start having a little read and just do things gradually. And
That's right.
if you're healthy and fine, you can still start making little changes to be even better, can't you?
Exactly.
Mm. Right. Any questions anywhere, Jeff? Is that
Right?
it? No?
Right?
Well, that's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show and
Yeah,
sharing your journey, and it's wonderful. If you hadn't have gone through that journey, you think how many all those people that you wouldn't have been able to help. And it's
exactly.
like we have to go through that journey. If we haven't gone through that journey, we've got no idea. But with different
That's why I'm just
situations.
so completely grateful that I have been through what I've been through and I'm coming out the other end. And now I can share my journey with everyone. And hopefully, even if I just affect one or two people, not affect them, but, help
Yeah,
them
yeah,
to see, the journey I've been on and give them some motivation or inspiration that they can do it too.
yeah.
And just like you say, make tiny little changes. But yeah, if anybody does need support or guidance or help or want to know a bit more about what I'm doing, by all means contact me. I can help you on a one-on-one, basis. Or I'm also a Reiki master. I do healing via distance or in person. Um, I do lots of quantum healing, Akashic record journeying, inner child healing, counselling, all different things. I have a mediumship workshop as well. That's coming up. I'm doing it on a Tuesday and Thursday in April for 6 weeks. So if anybody wants to learn mediumship as well, I'll be doing that workshop as well. But yeah, ultimately, my goal is to have a big bell tent in a field and to be having retreats and people
Campfires.
come to me for workshops and everything. And I'll get there and I'm manifesting it. That's where I'm going to be. But at the moment, I'm doing it from home. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a start, isn't it? So it's just like putting it out there now, because we all want
Yeah.
these things. We want to be living on the land. We want to connect
Yeah,
with nature more and more. It's so important, like, now more than ever,
definitely.
isn't it? Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's so important just to have that connection with the earth, isn't it? And to just,
mm.
as much as we can, be connected. It's like our shoes. We
Yeah.
shouldn't even be wearing shoes because it stops our connection to the ground.
Mm, mm. Yeah, yeah, mega. And you can get grounding sheets, and different things. So it's because I know there's a lot of people live in flats and that. Because I think, oh my
Yeah,
God, they're so ungrounded. They've got no garden. They're not in touch with nature. It's
yeah.
if you're
Just,
in a flat,
yeah,
then you have to go and sit in a park, sit alongside a tree and connect with the tree and have the tree healing, eh?
definitely. Yeah, just walk barefoot whenever you can, connect with the earth. And I lay in the
Mhm.
grass, not quite right now because it's raining
No,
and,
no. Yeah,
but it blows the cobwebs away, doesn't
it
it?
certainly does. And if you're feeling well, if you're just feeling out of sync or not very well or emotional, like I went and stood on the grass and walked on the grass for about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes and got my drum out and what have you. And I felt so much better
Yeah,
just by, because everything goes into the ground and it you sort of feel
definitely.
recharged. So very important.
Yeah, I've had a calling to keep going down to the sea at the moment and doing drumming and calling and healing for the earth and everything. And,
Yeah, we'll
like we said earlier,
get together.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll have
yeah.
to do that together.
Yeah,
It's really powerful.
Oh, isn't it just? So yeah, we'll sort
Definitely.
something out. So
I put
right.
up Don Tolman's book there. I think every home should have one.
Mm.
It's the pharmacist, this big, huge encyclopedia. It's made up of
Ah,
2 volumes. It's just full on factual stuff. He is just a walking encyclopedia of natural health, and
amazing.
yeah. So
Mm.
that
That's
price is
really
there in
good.
Australian dollars. Yeah, he's using kaolin paper, so that's why the encyclopedia will last for 200 years. But you can get it on a DVD now. So he's moving into
Mm,
new technology. You can get it on a USB stick as well.
Yeah, we saw him.
amazing.
We saw him in Australia. Amazing guy, absolutely
Mm.
phenomenal. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
wow.
Yeah.
He's
And
from
he says
Utah.
about
Mm.
not using plastic toothbrushes on your teeth, and you could go on and on and on with all the different
Yeah.
things that are not right. It's like when you're ready, reprogram and make little changes and just look at getting, and I know some of these softeners and powders are cheaper, but
Yeah, they're
it
no good
just
for us.
exactly, it just depends what you want, and just make subtle changes, isn't it?
Yeah, in the washing machine, I actually use soap nuts and essential oils.
Mm, yeah, definitely. All these little things. Okay, right. Well, I think we've come to the end, and thank you very much for sharing. It's been an absolute delight and pleasure, and I'll see you
You're
next week for
welcome.
coffee.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so, so, so grateful for you having
Now
me.
you're so blessed, honestly. It's lovely for you to share. So, and you'll obviously go on rippling out, helping more and more. So wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you both for having me. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Lots of love.
Thank you.
And next week, we've got this gentleman called Michael Lamb. So
Yes.
there you go. He's a real open your eyes. He's Marty Feldman eyes, isn't it? Bloody hell.
He's an amazing guy. I watched him on one of your shows.
Yeah. So he's coming on and talk about stars and all the different astronomy
Mm.
and astrological science. So God, he's pretty good. So
Amazing.
yeah. Anything else, Andrena?
No, that's it. It's all good. Thank you very much.
Melissa, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Bless you.
Bye.